footballer, and so this was what I grew up wanting to be. So to lose my sight was really scary, and as I say, I had loads of fears. I mean, one of my biggest fears was I was terrified of girls.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I got two sisters. I'm not terrified of them, but I was scared of girls. But when I became blind, I got frightened. One of the biggest problems was even eating, because I couldn't bear the thought of even eating in front of my family, getting up,
Yeah.
getting things all down my clothes, and not being able to cut my meat up and that sort of thing. And so I used to lock myself away in my bedroom with my 700 pop records, and I just stayed in my bedroom all day long with the door locked. And Mum would come up with the meals, and I'd just eat there. And I'm so glad God gave me fingers.
Yeah.
One terrifying thing was, I was a very fussy eater, and I used to make my mum's life a misery. I couldn't stand the fat on the boiled ham, and the worst thing of all was the slimy bits on a fried egg. I used to always make Mum turn the egg over. But the thought of being blind, having to eat some of those slimy bits, because you don't know what you're going to put in your mouth. So every mouthful is an excitement, because you do it by faith. So you don't know what you're going to get in your mouth. And in those days, I was very fussy. But I got over that, and I'm not at all fussy now. I go out for a meal, and I know that 99 times out of 100, what's going in my mouth is going to be a good experience. And so now I'm not afraid now. I just ask people to cut my food, to cut my meat up for me, cut my roast potatoes, and anything I can get in my mouth, that's fine.
Well, did your sight disappear in one day, or was it just gradual?
Well, I had this bang on the head. I was standing by a goalpost, waiting for the corner to come in, and as I jumped up to head the ball, I was shoulder charged into the goalpost, and it wasn't even a hard bang, but instantly, out of the left side, I had double vision. And I thought, oh dear, just out the left eye, the ball was coming towards me. I could see double people and everything. So it was a bit scary, that was. But after a few hours, it seemed to get better. And a few days later, I was at work. I was at Fort Dunlop checking a balance sheet. And when the balance sheet was passed to me for checking, I couldn't see the figures. They were all blurred. So I took the sheet back to the typist and said, excuse me, could you retype this, because it's blurred, we can't read it. She said, you are joking. I said, no, look. I said, John, it's perfectly clear. And then the penny dropped.
Yeah.
It was going back to the accident a few days before at the football game. And then after that, my sight went within about 6 months in both eyes. And I'll never forget, Carl, the day that I was told by the specialist at Birmingham Eye Hospital that I would never see again, and they needed to be registered blind and start to learn Braille and so on. I came up with my dad back up Livery Street, and we went to the Cardoma. We went for a coffee.
Oh yeah, the one up by the Great Western Arcade.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
We went to Cardoma, and Dad went up to get the coffee, and I sat there. And on the news headlines, it came on that Donald Campbell had been killed in Bluebird, attempting the world water speed record.
Yeah.
And when I heard that news, I began to cry. The tears were streaming down my face, and when my dad came back with the coffee, he put his arm around me. He said, never mind, son, we'll get through it. I said, what are you talking about, Dad? Donald Campbell's been killed. That's terrible. And Dad thought I was upset because I'd just been registered blind, but I was really choked about Donald Campbell.
I think we all were, weren't we? I was only little when it happened, and I remember, was it Ullswater or Windermere?
Like Coniston.
Coniston.
Yeah.
That was it, Coniston.
Yeah.
So you had a little bit of time between going to the specialist and him warning you, but it couldn't have been enough for you to understand it and take it on board, could it, John?
No, following that, I stayed at home all the time. I said my pop records were my constant companion. My family were really good and supportive, but if anything, I couldn't stand all the fuss. They were being very protective, if probably overprotective towards me.
Yeah.
But that's understandable. I can understand people reacting like that. But I just wanted to be alone, and I got great comfort from the soul singers, Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, and the Tamla Motown records that were all great comfort to me at the time. Hearing those black singers pour their hearts out, a tough life, and I was identified with them. I was feeling sorry for myself, but their songs were giving me loads of encouragement. And I suppose the first thing I had to face up to was a social worker coming to see me and saying I would need to start to learn to use a white stick. And I thought, I'm never going outside there in the big world carrying a white stick, having all those people staring at me. And she said, oh no, you'll enjoy it, it'll be fine. We'll take you out round Birmingham, we'll take you round New Street Station, and we'll train you how to get around. And so I was introduced to a lady called Miss Hume from Harboard, who came out to train me using a white stick. And we had a good laugh actually. We had lots of amusing incidents during that time, and it all served to build up my confidence a little bit. And then I had to go away to Torquay for 3 months rehabilitation, where I met with about 70 other blind people, and it was there that we learned how to get around Torquay. We had to be blindfolded and find our way around, so that we didn't cheat, because some people had a little bit of sight and would cheat.
Yes.
We had to learn. We had to redevelop our social skills, going out to dances.
Yeah.
We went to watch Torquay United play football and that kind of thing. And I learned Braille there, and I learned typing. So all that built up my confidence to the point where I actually enjoyed being away from home and being with people.
It sounds like, though, what had happened naturally was that you'd gone into a depression, locking yourself into your room, eating in your room, playing, and that really getting out again. First of all, going around town with that lady showing you how to use a white stick, and then Torquay built up your confidence and overcame that depression.
Definitely. I tell you, Carl, one of the best bits of therapy I had was when I was in Torquay, and we were some of us lads, we were told we were being taken temping bowling. I thought, oh no, I don't want to go temping bowling. What's the point when you can't see the pins go down? I used to love temping bowling when I could see. I used to go to the bowling alley, it used to be next to Villa Park, and bowl in the team then. But going as a blind person, I couldn't really see the point of that. But 6 of us did go. We got down to the lanes. I don't know what, you know what it's like, Carl, when you're really excited about something. You say, oh, can I go first? Can I go first?
Yeah.
But on this occasion, it was, can I go last? Can I go last?
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to make a fool of yourself.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, this guy called Jeff said, no, don't worry, chaps, I'll go first. We thought, oh, that's great, what a relief. So Jeff stepped up to bowl, and my unspoken prayer was, please God, let this ball go down the gutter. Because I'm rotten like that. Because I'd have nothing to live up to then, would I? But if he got a strike, well, that would really put pressure on the rest of us. So he stepped up to bowl. And as Jeff stepped forward, we were listening very carefully to those pins. But all we heard was Jeff scream. He went, ah! We said, Jeff, are you okay? He said, you're never going to believe this guy. He said, what's the matter, Jeff? Are you okay? He said, one of my eyes are falling out and rolling down the gutter.
Oh no!
We said, you what? They said, yeah, didn't you know Jeff had artificial eyes? I said, no. I said, well, that was my introduction to the world of artificial eyes.
Yeah.
I got lots of stories since then. But Jeff said, yeah, one of my eyes are falling out and rolling down the alley. And we said, oh dear. He said, don't worry though, I'll be all right once I get my eye in. And I knew that term from it being cricket, you know, they used to say that about the batsman, he'll be all right to get his eye in. But I fell about laughing so much, the tears rolled down my face. And that was instant therapy, because Jeff had been blind in an explosion at work. His face was badly disfigured, he had artificial eyes, and yet he could make a joke of it.
Yes.
And it was like instant healing for me, Carl, because after that I thought, well, I don't care, he'll laugh at me now. I'm just going to go out and enjoy life, make the best of what I've got, and we can have a laugh together. And I've really made that a principle in my life, that I've made lots of mistakes, I've made a fool of myself on many occasions, but if it puts a smile on people's face, so what?
Don't matter. Now listen, we're going to play a bit of music now. This is a special track from Johnny Cash. Explain who it's dedicated to and why.
Well, this is especially dedicated to my dear wife, who's sitting at home with a broken foot after an accident this week. And she really is the rose of my heart. And it's also dedicated to Vicky, who asked me to play a request for her too.
Here we go then. Johnny Cash. Rose of my heart.